Hey guys, I wanted to take a second. It's been a minute. I went on vacation for a week and a half, and when I got back, the lumber futures that we've been talking about every couple months had finally started correlating to something at the store level. But there's there's some hints in the futures that it's a valley and it's not going to continue to plummet for a while. But I'll get into all that real quick and just kind of show you some stuff on the upcoming videos and some other stuff we're doing. But just to remind you, this little series of videos started back in May, early May. And that's when futures had gone all lumber futures. Again, they started in January of 2020 when the pandemic started. They were around $350. And what that correlates to is 1,000 board feet of random dimensional lumber, 2x4s, 2x8s, whatever. 1,000 board feet of it averages $350. And in May of 2021, they peaked at 1,720. It was almost 5 times, and obviously it was a disaster for us builders that need, bulk lumber. I mean, it was raising the price of a normal house, 25, 30 grand in lumber, and that's usually more than a whole lumber package for the kind of house we were talking about. So that wasn't ideal. I started doing these videos comparing them to ICF, and what I was doing is comparing a 4x8 section of ICF and a 4x8 section of 2x6 walls, zip board, and foam insulation, because that is the closest you're going to get to ICF efficiency. Not going to get there, but it's going to get you the closest. I'm not going to compare junk wood framing, 2x4s, R13 bat. I mean, that's fine if that's what you want to build, but I'm not. We're talking the difference in ICF and wood is already, you're never going to get to the structural integrity, and you're never going to get to the efficiency without spending a ton more money. By the time you've caulked every joint and every nail hole and spent all that money, ICF is way less to get to those, R50 performances and stuff. But anyway, back to the futures. In the end of May, I did a video, they were down to 1,400. And in August, the very beginning of August, I did another one because they had plummeted. They were down to 621, if you remember right, which I'll post these numbers down here to so I'm talking fast. But I was trying to explain to everybody that in that August video, zipboard was still $68 a sheet, which is insane. 2x6s had gone from $15 in the previous video down to $10 because the dimensional lumber was going to come down first. OSB, resin product, excuses. It was going to come down the last. Tape, which had peaked at almost $40 a roll, was down back into the mid 30s. And I left insulation alone again as I don't make the phone calls I want to make on insulation. And that was probably a mistake because insulation is going crazy. Spray foams. It's up 40%, which, while lumber has come way down, it's actually still lumber is way cheaper than ICF now, or at least a good bit cheaper, but the insulation's keeping it up to a point I still wouldn't make the downgrade to lumber for the difference for the savings. You might. But I said $185 a square foot, which brought the total of that 4x8 sheet to $188. Factored in all the box blocks price increases, which they were the last big name to give in to the market conditions and up their price. They had their final price increase at the beginning of September, I think, and I mean they're up, around $450 a square foot, I think. That's what I factored in. I know I can buy it for that. It's available. I do live 15 minutes from one of their big manufacturing plants, so freight is of little consequence to me. So anyway, I got back from vacation 5 days ago and walked into Home Depot, and I was just shocked because regular OSB, which we never talk about because I don't use much of it, it was all the way up above $50 a sheet, which I've never seen in my life. I mean, after big hurricanes, I'll see it jump from $10 a sheet to 27 or something crazy, and it was double that. But it has plummeted, and a lot of this stuff has. OSB was down to $17 a sheet. I can still get it for that today. Don't know how long with Hurricane Ida, and the futures are bumping back up a little bit. Just for fun, things I've never mentioned before, that Advantech is still like $64 a sheet, which is crazy. I'm used to paying like $30. Um, and let's see. Yeah, OSB and Advantech are the two things that I don't normally go. But the things I always compare, zip board, which the cheapest it's been since I started these videos was $55 a sheet, which is insane. And the highest it got up to was 71, which I couldn't stomach even thinking about. It's down to 40. Still the most I've ever paid for it. You know, literally a year and a half ago, I was paying 17 bucks a sheet for green, which is 7/16. So hopefully it continues to come down over the long haul, but 40 bucks is much better. 2x6, 8 footers for that 4x8 wall. They were peaking at like 15 bucks a piece, which is crazy again. 2x6s are right now 768, so they're about half of their peak. Tape is back down to pretty much normal, 28 bucks a roll for zip tape, which is kind of what we've been used to paying for years. And the problem, insulation. My guy quoted me the other day. He said his resin and his catalyst are up 40% in the last month. And I kind of didn't believe him, but our eco finish stuff, which you guys have seen the videos, we are kind of pioneering with eco for our ICF. Instead of doing a plaster-based wall, we're going to do a composite-based wall. So where we're going to be shooting like, you know, glass and a composite before the eco finish. It's going to be really the premier pool finish. We'll get into that in future videos. I'm super excited about it. But because of that, I'm dealing with a lot of these guys with similar chemicals. And they said, nope, totally legit. Our stuff's been going up, but foam guys are getting hit the hardest. So they're up. I mean, they're going to be up to almost $3 a foot in no time, which factors in because, you know, this wall, 4x8, the wall was up somewhere around, you know, in the $200 range when it peaked. A little over 211 was the high in May to build that 4x8 sheet of wall and spray foam it. Well, if the insulation had just stayed the same, we'd be like at 140 now, 130 for that same piece, which is significant savings when you're talking about that's just a little section of wall. But because of the insulation, the realities of spray foam right now, you're still at like $175. Now, the ICF version is probably $215, so it's cheaper. Good, it should be. So, you know, there's still market factors. Now, the futures, like I said, we're down to 621. They're up to 762. They're up almost 20% this month. Two things that I think are probably causing that. And the first is the crash of lumber was predicted. A lot of people are like, oh, it'll never go back down. They say that about gas prices every time it happens too. Everything always goes, it's an ebb and a flow. But there's so many builders out there that had foundations that finally just said enough is enough. I'm not paying 50 bucks a sheet for OSB. I'm not paying $70 a sheet for zip. And they just stopped at the foundation because concrete's been very stable. They can get it dug and poured for basically the same money they always could. And they're like, we're done. And there's, even around my market, there's dozens to maybe hundreds of foundations waiting for lumber. And once we've hit this point where things are kind of like half of the peak, people are feeling like, all right, I better get in and get these bought right now. So there's a little bit of a resurgence into the market in demand. But then probably the other thing, Ida, you know, the hurricane, it always affects sheet goods because everybody's got to board up the damage. And that I'm going to show you guys some stuff because our beach houses down in Dolphin Island, Alabama, got some damage. We got a glancing blow. We have no wind damage really. Ours was all storm surge. I'm actually heading down there. Today is Friday. I'm heading down there next Wednesday after work because, you know, every week we lose rent. I'm going to get it all fixed up before the next Saturday so we don't lose any more rental weeks. And I'm going to show you guys that at the end of this video, kind of what I'm going to be doing down there because I've designed a really cool folding set of stainless steel stairs that we're welding up. I'm not going to get it installed till October, but I'm just going to go down and patch up the stairs we have. But they routinely wash away. The ones that go all the way down to the beach get washed away about every 2 years. So I've got this thing designed to alleviate that issue. But those hurricanes, you know, I mean, Grand Isle, Louisiana, and I mean, New Orleans itself didn't get a lot of structural damage. It's going to need boarded up, and Grand Isle's not giant. So ultimately, I don't think there's a real huge demand for sheet goods that should affect the worldwide or at least North American supply. But they'll use it as, I mean, it'll tick everything up. Again, temporary. We're going into fall, we're going into winter. building slows way down. I mean, half of the country gets very cold. So generally, everything kind of bottoms out in those months, even though also lumber production slows down. But we don't really have a shortage. It's more of a demand thing. And so I'm very hopeful that, if we can ebb and flow in the, not get up into the thousands again, and maybe even get down well below 500, lumber is going to be back to a place where it doesn't make you queasy to go into the lumber yard and buy a few 2x4s. I mean, it's dark now, but we've got all of our radiant floor run. I was gone for 10 days, and now I'm going to be gone for a few more going down to Alabama, so I probably won't get that poured till the week after. But it's just about ready. I just got a plumber needs to rough in, and the light deck penetration, since I have all those pipes, I really can't drill after the fact. And the walls are done. Everything's braced up, and we'll be doing that here in a week and a half probably. But I got to buy lumber next. I've been dragging my feet, to do the concrete stuff only because concrete prices basically hasn't gone up for me. My plant bought all their Portland, priced at the beginning of the year. So really the only thing, we got a little fuel surcharge because obviously gas is stupid too. But yeah, so that's kind of where lumber's at right now. It's way down, not down enough, but it is in better shape. Unfortunately, if you're framing a house, you got to insulate it with something. Bats aren't really good enough in this day and age. And spray foam is super high right now. It's kind of sucks. But it's still cheaper than ICF, but you lose all the structural benefits. Which one of my next videos is going to be a lot of fun. It's like I said, we're going to be shooting 2x4s basically probably through the OSB. And, trying to shoot it through the ICF. I don't think that's going to happen. We're going to just kind of play a little bit with showing off the structural awesomeness of ICF, because that's really where it shines. Like I said, price on ICF basically the same, for that 4x8 sheet, 200, 215, something like that. And I've addressed the rebar and all that stuff in the other videos, and how much strapping you have to use in different municipalities. But real quick, I'm going to bring you guys two things. One, I'm going to show you a little progress. They installed all the Scavellini cabinets in the big house. So I'm going to first show you that. Then I'm going to show you some just still pictures of the a lot of beach erosion and just some minor carpentry. But I got to go fix our driveways and stuff. They're pretty much washed away. I'm going to show you kind of what we deal with down there. And when I go down there next week, I'm actually doing a whole video as to why. Like, it's not climate change per se. It is man-made, but it's a lot of dredging practices, bad habits, basically. And they're trying to fix them, but it's kind of 50 years too late. I mean, there's just a ton of damage that really ought to be undone and, start fresh. But we'll get into all that in one of the next videos. But I am going to show you first, like I said, the Scavellini stuff. Then I'm going to show you what I'm going to be doing in Dolphin. Just on this trip is a quick hitter, but then, like I said, I'm going to make those cool stairs. But lots of cool ICF projects. Next week, before I leave, I'm pouring a awesome mono pour at that house there that I have showed you guys a few times. It's almost ready to pour right now. We'll easily get it ready by Wednesday morning. And then that one is, once you get that pour done, it's licked. But I will see you guys next time. I'm going to bring you a couple little previews and get out of here. Okay, guys, so the carpenters from Vegas finished these cabinets up while I was on vacation, while I was up at Yellowstone and Glacier. So I didn't get their time-lapse footage before they left, but I'm going to be bringing you guys this entire cabinet build because, we build a lot of our own fancy, custom, modern, like walnut cabinets, but these cabinets are glass-faced Italian cabinets. It's very modern. I mean, it's almost automotive in its quality. So you can kind of see just how tight it is. I'm kind of playing around there showing you guys the ceilings again. So this is the master vanity. I mean, just look at the sheen on that glass and obviously the high gloss tile going in. It's just super cool. And real quick, I'll show you the really wicked arch ceiling. When I do the video of Scavellini, I will likely do a vid real quick with Mark Tracy of Chemical Spaces. He's our designer that came up with that. Okay, now to the not so good news. This picture here shows what the beach normally looks like. You can see the sand fence is usually almost buried. And right now we're missing about 4 or 5 feet of sand on the beach, as you can see here. And what that ends up correlating to is just a lot of surge damage. You can see the pilings from the old house that was there before Katrina, and it's kind of a drag. This happens. Like I said, I'll do a video while I'm down there next week and show you exactly how that all happens, and you know, what can be done about it in the long run, yada yada. But yeah, I'll be heading down there. I'll also post a link to the videos of the tours of those 2 houses. Like I said, we rent those houses by the week, and have a home tour up on each one of them from early in my YouTube days. The audio is not great. I did not have a mic yet. I will just forewarn you, if you are you know, an audio snob, it is not awesome. But anyway, I will probably shoot some more video and send you another video when I get down there. So I will see you guys soon.